started as a young lad at North Shore Football Club, which is in Geelong. It's been a very strong club. A lot of players come through at my age group in Norlane to represent North Shore Footy Club. After that, I was invited to Geelong West in the VFA, which turned out to be a rewarding change to a VFA club because we went on to win a premiership. After that, I played a couple of games at Footscray. Bill Goggin, who coaches at West, took us up to Footscray, and I was there I played five or six games, and then I ended up at Richmond, played a couple of games at Richmond. After a couple of years at Richmond, I went to coach Bftp. It was my first venture towards the Ballarat area. Bftp were in the Ballarat League. We improved to play in the finals in 79. 1980, Bill Goggin asked me to go back to Geelong. I started doing a bit of pro foot running, and so I started the year at Geelong about three weeks into the season. At the end of the season, won the best and fairest and played in the Seconds Premiership. 81, went back to North Shore. Hadn't been playing at North Shore for about 9 years, and hadn't been playing the Premiership, which was very rewarding as a young bloke who grew up at North Shore. 82, North Ballarat Football Club invited me to come and coach their club, but they were celebrating their 100th year, and it was back to the Ballarat League again. So I had 2 years coaching North for a couple of premierships, and Ian Baker took over, an assistant coach, to become coach, and he coached in Granola 3, so we won 5 in a row in the Ballarat League, which is very strong in country Victoria. John Northey had coached the Interleague to 3 premierships in a row against strong sides like the Ovens and Murray. Then I become involved more with foot running Otway Classics, but then in 90 I come back and coach North Ballarat as a non-playing coach, and we were back in the finals, but East Ballarat beat us in the grand final. But so that's just about my playing and coaching career, and after that I just become more involved with athletics. Geelong West, it was just a remarkable, like Sundays couldn't come around quick enough, really. Like Sundays when I was a young kid at North Shore, when we played Little League and all the kids from our area, Little League was on a Sunday. We got the stage where we got out of Little League and we're going, and Geelong West was the same, on a Sunday Geelong West. And to turn up to West Oval, home games, then getting on the buses. Actually we had 2 train trips. I think we had the train trip to Sandringham and a train trip to Preston, where we all met at the Geelong railway station. There was a carriage for the players, and then the rest of the supporters were on the train, and we went to a couple of games. Sunday couldn't come around quick enough. We'd play at home, and you could see the groups from all the different Geelong football leagues that come out as a group, and let's go and watch West play on the Sunday, because I had the opportunity too, like by playing Sunday football, I was able to go and watch North Shore play on the Saturday, and then North Shore people would come on the Sunday and watch the VFA. Same with Johnny Hughes being a Lara fella and all that sort of thing. He'd go and watch Lara on a Saturday, and then Lara people would come and watch him on the Sunday. So that they were the things that happened. Geelong West, it just give you that little bit of acknowledgement, like with Channel O or Channel 10 that did the VFA. It just highlighted the football in the areas that represented the VFA. It was a different comp with no wingers, and it was long kicking and running, and it was just a fantastic competition to be in. To be with Geelong West and go and play Port Melbourne at Port Melbourne or Sandringham, and as it turned out, 28,000 at the Junction Oval to play Dandenong in 75 was just a wonderful occasion. And I think all my teammates and all the teammates, or even the ones that were part of our squad that were played in our 2s, that didn't get a senior game but were knocking on the door, they just, it was a good bunch of guys to be around and to formulate a football team out of. Well, 73 I went to West from North Shore, and I sat on the bench in a couple of the senior games, but I basically played in the seconds and went on to win the VFA. It's called the Todd Trophy, the Todd Medal for the best in the seconds in the VFA, and then in 1974 I started the year off, and again I was still sort of between seconds, so Bill's suggestion was maybe I go down to Hobart and play down for Hobart and play some senior football down there, and then come back. So I went down to Hobart and played. Then in 75 come back, and he was right, because in 75, along with a young Terry Bright and our leading full forward Joe Dodgick and myself, we were the only three that have played every home and away game in our finals games for 75. Well, my role, I think, with Bill was, like, I started off in the forward line, is just to be running around, crumbing in the forward line. Hughesy started in the centre, but I think our job was really with Warwick Yates and David Manson in the ruck and Tony Gilmore controlling the centre. As we know, we haven't got wingers. We need to run and, you know, like, make that work. When you run out of the forward line, just hold up across the centre line. If it's gone in forward, you can just put a bit of a wall across. But I just found that with the big blokes' dominance of Yates and Manson and Gilmore in the centre, like, by geez, he could play. He just kept finding the football. They talk about learning, people playing 50 games of football, getting their head over the ball and that. He was just one out of the blue. He just kept putting his head over the football and getting the ball. Same with John Hughes, even though I'm sure John copped some concussion just after half time in the grand final, but he was a terrier. So our job was, like, John Hughes, Terry Bright and myself, just to make sure we're there to crumb, let the big blokes fly, let Ocker fly across half forward and take the crumbs. I think it was still a bit basic, but it's like anything. If you asked to do something, carry it out for the team, and everyone did it. Even the guys, I haven't mentioned one in the back line, because, you know, they were there to shut their men down. Doesn't matter what size they were or what their run off the line was. Their job was just to shut the opposition forward line out, and we'd just work as hard as we could. Well, Dizzy came about because I think it was like growing up in Norlane, we had our little shops, our strip shops and all that, and I reckon I was with a couple of mates at the local Labuan Square, and there was a bloke that worked in the supermarket, and he reminded me of someone out of a film on TV that I'd seen, and his name was Dizzy, and I think that I was giving him a little bit of Dizzy, and sort of irritating him a little bit, and next thing he's come, and all of a sudden I think the people, my mates, thought, well, the Dizzy bit was for me, and I think it's really taken on since I was, as I said, about 12 or 13, and it stuck, and I'm where I am today with this interview. From that day until now, I'm very, I'm happy that Dizzy's Dizzy, and it's worked out very well for me, because you meet a lot of people, and shake your hands and say, "G'day, Dizzy. I played against you at such and such, or I ran against you somewhere," and all that, and it's I appreciate it. I can go with the nickname Dizzy. 75 was very good in the fact that by playing in the Premiership at the Junction Oval against Dandenong, there was 28,000 people there, and there's a lot of maybe talent scouts from VFL clubs. But as it turned out, Bill Golgan was appointed coach of Footscray, and he asked me to come along. It turned out that year that it was very good, the grand final for West, because a young Terry Bright ended up going to Geelong to play in Premiership, playing in the seniors. David Manson played some games for Geelong, but we got about 10 games into the season before clearances closed, and I might have been involved in a swap or some dealings between Footscray and Richmond. Someone might have owed someone a clearance because of the zoning of those days and things like that, and I found myself at Richmond under Tom Hafey, and to walk into the Richmond rooms, and you got number 6, and you got Royce Hart a couple of lockers up from me, and you got Kevin Sheedy, and you got Francis Burke and Kevin Bartlett. It was just, you've seen all these ones in the previous 10 years, what they've done in VFL football. It was a great place to be, and I played 2 games. Tom had me in forward pocket running around, and I broke my leg playing against Collingwood at the G, and I was out for the rest of the year, and then when 77 come around, I played all the year in the seconds and played in the seconds premiership in 77. And then after that, maybe my time had come to an end at VFL football back in those days, and that's when I was asked to go and coach Beaufort. So that's how it all worked out, between leaving West and playing a couple of years in the VFL. Well, with the running side of Dizzy Lynch was it had a lot to do with my footy coach, Bill Goggin, and his old head trainer at Geelong was Arthur Edgerton, and Edgy, like a lot of trainers around Victoria, like in the VFL, and you had blokes like Jim Spain at Fitzroy, and you had Bill Baromeo at Richmond when I was at Richmond. A lot of people had a lot to do with pro running. So Bill took me out to Edgy there one day, and I remember it vividly that Mick Woolnough, that played at Geelong and Collingwood, was running pretty well. I think he just won the Box Hill half mile, and Edgy said, "Oh, does he just go and run an 800 with Mick Woolnough?" Well, I hung on for dear life. Mick was fit, running fit and all that, and I'll never forget it. And he took off, and I was sort of hanging in there with about 60 metres to go. I was still with him, but in the last 60, he would have put 30 metres in the middle, taken out of me. So that was fine. I got back to Edgy, and he said, for a green 800, he said, that was just wonderful. We've got a bit to work with here, and I appreciate that. And that's where the pro running started. Edgy, we went to Stawell in 80. We won the mile and the 2 mile. We went back again in 81 and won the mile and 2 mile again. And we lost Edgy. He passed away before Christmas in 81, and we went back to Stawell in 82 and won the 2 mile for the third time. So very rewarding 3 years of running. Then I ran the Otway Classic in 85, won the individual section of the Otway Classic. Then bloke that coached me was Bob Fowler from Melbourne, and we tried to, I was about 32, 33. He said, have a go at the see what we can run 10k in at the Zatopek. We'll try and run 10k in break 30 minutes. Well, as it turned out, we trained, and at 33, this is in 87, we went to the Zatopek at Olympic Park, and Andrew Lloyd won it, Mona come second, and Dizzy come sixth, and I ran 28.58, and I just think, it was just a memorable moment to think of, you played a lot of footy, and then you've gone out and trained, like twice a day for 6 days, and then a 30k run on a Sunday morning and all that. And I was just happy to be in the race, the Zatopek, because it's a wonderfully named race. And at 33 to break 29 minutes, I was so happy, and had a good night and celebrated that. But that's where all the running, been back to Stawell and won a few more miles. Fortunate enough to be put in the Hall of Fame, and then after a couple of years, they made me a legend in the Hall of Fame, and I'm just thank the Stawell Athletic Club. I go back there as often as I can at Easter, because it's good catching up with people. You reminisce, you talk about the good times of being fit and training hard, and really the pro running's been very good to me. And at the same time, my younger brother's come along, and I enjoyed the times when he come out and won the Australian 1500 metre championship. And it was good to not just do the running yourself, but go along and watch your brother run. And also he ran in the World Indoors in Japan, and the World Cross Countries. He went away with Mona and Lloyd and a few others to Belfast and to Cape Town. So we've enjoyed some good running together, my brother and myself, and really I've really enjoyed pro running. It's been great. And when Open Athletics come along in 86 or 87, that allowed us to run the Zatopeks, because the amateurs could run with the pros and the pros could run with the amateurs. So that just opened us up, so you could explore your body and train and enjoy the effects of training and doing good running sessions and drills. So that's where I'm very indebted, because it's kept me fit, it's kept me sound for many years.
You've given your heart to get here and your soul to get it right. You can take 'em boots and all, but it's sure gonna take a fight. When you spend all week getting to your peak, you're gonna have your say. You bet. On Sunday, it's the Bftp. It's Sunday, you're gonna make your play for the Bftp. Today you're gonna fly. It's Sunday for the Bftp. It's Sunday.